Good morning, college football fans, and happy Christmas Eve. That is right. Christmas Eve is here, and we are rolling with the Bulls. This episode has quite the funny name because, well, there ain't nothing like a good bowl of football, and I think my co-host here can definitely agree. Ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time to jump on into more college football than you probably even knew existed. 3 and Out College Edition right here on IE Sports Radio Live. Christmas Eve edition with me, your boy Larry B, and my co-host, Mr. Teran Rodriguez. What's going on, brother? How you doing today, man?
Yo, Larry B. Merry Christmas Eve to everybody. Merry Christmas Eve to you too. And let's get it. Let's talk some college football.
Oh, let's get it. Oh, yes. Let's do this, y'all. We got some national champions to crown. Where's that applause button? We have, of course, some bowl games to get into, and we got so much more, including the high school team that did it all. Oh, it's going to be a great show. We're live early morning, once again, on Christmas Eve, ready to rock and roll, ladies and gentlemen. You are now tuned in live to 3 and Out College Edition right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Once again, good morning, college football fans. Glad to have you here today because, well, bowl season has been pretty gosh dang good. Once again, y'all, ain't nothing like a great bowl of football because, you know, I'm sorry, I'm trying to make a connection to cereal, but look, ain't nothing like a great bowl of cereal. Ain't nothing like a great bowl of football. So, let's get with it, y'all. Like I said, national champions to crown. Last week, we had we didn't. It wasn't quite, actually. It was a freaking dominating performance in Division II. Absolutely dominating. We had a team win it for their first time ever in the NAIA. And, of course, it was their second time ever being there in the last 3 years. Awesome performance by this team. And, of course, we get to talk a little bit about those FCS playoffs that, you know, were they on a collision course from the beginning of the year? And then they collided in the regular season. And were they always on this collision course to be in the national championship coming up? Not this weekend, but next weekend? Or actually the weekend after? Were they always on that collision course? Well, we'll get plenty into that as well in the FCS. But ladies and gentlemen, first things first, as I always say, man, I know I already introduced him, but he's my boy, man, all the way from Southern California, right where I am. The OC side, I'm on the IE side. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, IE Sports Radio Hall of Famer. He is diehard SoCal fan. If you did not catch it yesterday, shame on you. You should go check it out, though. He is the host of the SoCal Supreme Sports Show. He is the co-host here of 3 and Out College Edition. And, of course, he is the host of Set Point here on IE Sports Radio, covering all things volleyball. My goodness, great show this past week, covering the national championship. Of course, the women's national championship. Ladies and gentlemen, great guy and COO of IE Sports Radio, my boy, Mr. Teran Rodriguez. What's going on, brother?
Yo, Larry B. Thank you for the introduction. Glad to be on talking some college football with you bright and early. It's a little foggy, but it's all good, and we're about to get it started.
Is it foggy over there?
Kinda. But I think it's starting to clear up. Like when I got up at about 6ish, it was very foggy, but now it looks like it's starting to clear up a little.
Oh, hopefully it clears up, man. Fog ain't good, but my boy, man, great to have you here today, and we are ready to rock and roll. Well, starting things off, man, we're just gonna go from the youngest to the oldest, I guess, if you want to call it, or however you want to say it. But starting things off, it was earlier this week, I believe it was actually Monday, and well, just like last year, you tagged me in it, and then I got to post it, and we all knew it. It was just we were waiting for the quote unquote unofficial post, if you will. But, ladies and gentlemen, they have done it. Congratulations to the St. John Bosco Braves. They have earned their second national championship, second Max Preps High School Football National Championship in program history, and their first since 2019. My goodness, this Braves team was dominant. They took a lick earlier in the year to Mater Dei, who we actually really thought Mater Dei was going to win it this year. Bruce Rawlinson's last season coaching, and unfortunately though, did not happen. And the Braves would knock off Mater Dei in the CIF championship. Then they would go on to defeat Sarah in the California State Championship, the CIF Open Division State Championship. And, well, nobody was better than this team all year. And though I really wish we could still have a game for this, it's all good. St. John Bosco would take the title once again. Congratulations to those Braves. The best in the land in high school football. Mr. Teran Rodriguez, was it ever a surprise to you that this team was going to win the national championship after winning that state title?
No, not really. I mean, that was basically it. They basically proved themselves in that CIF state championship, or not CIF state championship game, CIF Southern Section championship game. They played a tough season all year. They traveled all over. They went out of state to play certain games, and they were really tested. Obviously, they had that one loss to Mater Dei in the regular season, but they played them tough, and that was a low-scoring game. And then the second time around, they were ready for them. They brought the defense, mainly in the second half, and their offense started to click after Pierce Clarkson kind of took an ankle injury, but he came back in and was able to do his thing. So I think for Jason Negro, he's done an outstanding job, and it's a testament to his team and how they were able to bounce back from a tough loss. So I think for Bosco, this is no surprise. I mean, some could make the argument for Central being the national champion, but honestly, St. John Bosco earned it. And you have to remember, they play in the toughest league in America, being the Trinity League. It's not your grandfather's Trinity League. It's probably the toughest league out there.
I like how you said that, Darren. It's not your grandfather's league. No, absolutely, Darren. The biggest part about this for St. John Bosco is the fact that, Taryn, they're the private school that dominates. And I'm going to be real with you, and I really don't want to sound like that dude to be like, well, this will probably would have happened. And honestly, I am not going to discredit Central. However, if there was a national championship game that was 1 versus 2, like even the old BCS style, I'm sure Central is a great football team, and we honestly have no idea, Taryn. We don't. And I'm stepping into dangerous territory right now, even trying to say what would have happened. But honestly, Taryn, I'm not sure that it would have been... we talked about Los Alamitos playing Mater Dei. We talked about Mission Viejo playing St. John Bosco. I don't know, Taryn. I know they're a really, really, really good school. Who knows? Central might have blown out both Mater Dei and Los Alamitos. Because, of course, that's the teams that Mater Dei and St. John Bosco played in the semifinal of the Open Division in CIF this year, and for those who've been keeping up with this, of course. And I'm not trying to say that Central would have, not even made it a close game. I don't know. But what I do know that, Teran, is, I don't know, I have the feeling that St. John Bosco would have probably won anyway. By how much, I don't know. It could have been a close one. We don't know. But I think it's safe to say, like we were talking last week about the natural versus unnatural bodybuilders, and how the same thing with powerlifting. We went down that whole rabbit hole. At least I did. I was making the comparison. I think it's safe to say, and I don't want to discredit anybody really, or make it sound bad, but I mean, would you say this, Teran? Since Central actually did finish number 2, would you say that the private school this year, the national champions, of course, national champions are the St. John Bosco Braves, but if you think about public school, I mean, you can kind of actually say, since they are the first public school, they are the public school national champions, giving themselves the self-titled national champions. Remember UCF a couple years ago and everything. I mean, I don't think they would probably like that very much, and I don't think they'd take that, of course. But I'm just saying, since they are the first public school up there, I mean, it's pretty cool to think. I mean, I think they're public school, but with that said, Teran, I don't know. I mean, is it safe to give them that title at least, or to say that? I mean, or do you think right now, no, you know what, it probably would have been a good game, or I don't know. It's kind of a weird territory, but what do you think about that one, Teran?
I think it would have been a great game. I think that Central having a great season, they would have fought tooth and nail against St. John Bosco, but Jason Negro always has his players prepared, just because they always go to war for him. They always play their hardest, and they have all kinds of weapons, especially on defense. And Mateo Uiagalelei, who's committed to Oregon, he is someone that goes all out, and he could play both offense and defense. So I don't know if Central would have beaten St. John Bosco. I think it would have been a close game. I think Bosco would have squeaked one out. So it's probably going to be a question that will never ever be answered.
Very fair, Teran. Very fair. But congratulations once again to St. John Bosco. Going over the top 10 one more time, Teran. Now we are positive that it is over. The high school football season is officially over with. But congratulations, Chaminade Madonna. They would actually play last weekend. Crazy. We talked about that. They played Bishop Gorman. Well, Teran, Bishop Gorman, Chaminade Madonna traveled across the land, and Bishop Gorman sent them right back with an L. Kind of crazy. I think that was their first loss of the season. Actually, it was after. I guess it was. I don't know if that was it says away game, non-district, last game. I don't know if that was like I said, like last week, a exhibition or whatever it was. But yeah, Bishop Gorman, man, 49-14. Chaminade Madonna will finish at 13-1. Bishop Gorman at 14-1, and we've talked about it this whole season. Basically, that only loss coming from the great mighty Mater Dei earlier this season. Any surprises in that Chaminade Madonna Bishop Gorman game, Teran?
Not really, because Bishop Gorman has been dominant most of the season, and this was a bowl game that. So this was a bowl game played between the two teams. This wasn't really an exhibition game. I guess they both agreed on a bowl game, and I guess they don't have the rules that CIF has. So I think maybe other teams should do this type of thing as well. And Bishop Gorman, to me, I think that was probably expected, to say the least. Nothing against Chaminade Madonna, but this is how strong Bishop Gorman is every year. So I think Bishop Gorman really brought it in that game. And I'm going to look up what that bowl game was called. I think it was like some sort of like, I know the bowl game off the top of my head, but it was still a great game, and I think we got to see more of these types of games more often.
Agreed, Sam. I forgot this right. It had like a series. I forgot what this Geico. It wasn't Geico. Was it Geico? It was a series.
I think it was the Geico Bowl.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That really quick.
Awesome, Terry. Well, while you're doing that, last weekend we also had a little championship game in Texas. And that was for the UIL Texas Football State Championships. I don't know if that was like the big one, like the Open here in California. But it was a crazy game. Teran, Duncanville. My goodness, they pulled it off. I mean, no diss to Bishop Gorman. They deserve the applause too. My apologies. This is for both of them. But Duncanville, Teran, they will knock off the giant of Texas, North Shore. 28-21, Duncanville finishes the perfect season 15-0, and North Shore will finish at 15-1. Teran, how about Duncanville, man?
So before I talk into that one, it was the Geico Bowl. So Geico Bowl was between Bishop Gorman and Chaminade Madonna, and Bishop Gorman won that one. Yeah, Duncanville, them being one of the top teams in the nation, it's not surprising as beating North Shore. That was who they beat. It's sort of not surprising, but I had a feeling Duncanville always has a chance, or always is a good team. And I remember back in 2019, was it 2019 or 18, something along those lines, they had a chance to be the national champions, but then they unfortunately lost the last game of the season. So, but to beat North Shore in a thriller of a game, that's quite something. So I am advertised, and I had a feeling it was probably going to come down to the wire. But Duncanville, being the perennial good Texas team that are, I knew that they would find a way to eke out the win, whether it was ugly or pretty.
Well, there you have it, Duncanville, man. Teran dropping some Duncanville knowledge on us there. So, awesome stuff there. Once again, that's number 10 all the way to 8 so far. So, Chaminade Madonna will finish at 10. North Shore will finish at 9. St. Francis, as we know, their last game was at MG Academy back in November. They'll finish at 8 with a loss to the MG Academy, that is. Duncanville will finish at number 7 in the country this year. Pretty awesome there. St. Thomas Aquinas, we've talked about them already a couple weeks ago. They finished up their regular season as well, or they finished up their season as well. They'll finish at number 6. The IMG Academy will finish at number 5. Bishop Gorman will stay at number 4 pretty much the entire season, and there they are. Modern Day will fall to number 3. Central, of course, of Miami, they finished off their season, of course, the championship, and after defeating American Heritage. Just awesome season this team had. And Central will finish at number 2. And once, of course, that is St. John Bosco, the kings of the land, will finish at 13-1. By the way, Central finished at 14-0. St. John Bosco finished at 13-1. And there you have it, you guys. I don't even know if I got that. Everybody. Chaminade Madonna 13-1. North Shore 15-1. St. Francis Academy 9-1. Duncanville 15-1. St. Thomas Aquinas 14-1 or 14-0. IMG Academy 8-1. Bishop Gorman 14-1. Mater Dei 12-1. And Central 14-0. St. John Bosco 13-1. And there you have it. Congratulations to our top 10 around the country. Max Prep top 10. There you have it. That is how high school football will finish this week or this season. And wow, Teran. Now to think, a lot of these kids on early February, of some of them right now, they're on their way. They are signing. They're going to be these kids next season. Teran, of course, we're going to get a lot more names. We're going to get, of course, a little more deeper into this. But to think, Teran, some of these teams that we're talking about, these players are headed on to the teams that we watch on Saturdays to play in college, man. It's awesome stuff. And, well, next stop for a lot of these guys, they are going in to that college football. So, big ups to our boy, Mr. Aaron X, by the way. Good morning, gentlemen. Christmas Eve to you guys. Merry Christmas Eve to you all. Merry Christmas Eve to you as well, Mr. Aaron X. And good morning from Utah, our boy, Mr. Cale Henderson. He says, beautiful in Salt Lake. I'm sure it is, brother. Glad to have you tuned in, man. And good morning and Merry Christmas Eve to you, sir. Well, that is going to close the door on high school. Teran, any last comments, thoughts, opinions, anything you want to say to close the door on high school football for this season.
Well, as you mentioned, signing day was this past Wednesday, and honestly, it's exciting for these kids. And one of the reasons why we cover high school football is because these are going to be the players of tomorrow in terms of college. So that's why we cover high school football, because some of these players will be doing it big on the college level, and then we'll basically be going back and looking at it and saying we covered those kids back in our day of college edition. So that's why we cover high school football, just because these kids are the future college football players of tomorrow, and it's a beautiful thing.
I couldn't agree more, my boy. I couldn't agree more. Well, with that said, we're going to take ourselves a quick break, and when we get back, we are going to get into, we got that D2 National Championship to get into. Of course, we got to talk a little bit about that FCS playoff. And well, we definitely got to talk about these crazy bowl games up to date. You are listening to 3 and Out College Edition right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back talking more college football after this.
Hello, ladies and sinners. Hello, sports fans around the world. Hello, IE Sports family. This is Cale Henderson, the host of IE Vegas, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio. If you folks are interested in sports in the Vegas area, if you're wanting to have a blast for 1 hour every Tuesday night from 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, this is a show built for the Vegas sports fans, where we feature the Las Vegas Raiders, the Las Vegas Golden Knights, the Las Vegas Aces, and the University of Las Vegas, Nevada Rebels. Hopefully, fingers crossed, MLB team coming soon. Either way, if you folks are looking to have a blast for 1 hour each and every week, tune in Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you folks are interested in Vegas sports news, go to our Twitter, at SinCities_IESR, and you can speak with me, the host, Cale Henderson, at Cale_Henderson on Twitter. At any time, be happy to reply. Always want to reach out to our fans. Again, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, everybody? This is Teran Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunder Spikes? Then I have the show for you, Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What is going on, everybody? My name is Harrison Glazer, and we're coming at you from the Show That Never Sleeps podcast. I cover the Jets, the Islanders, the Nets, and the Yankees.
This is Pierre Moss, and I cover the Mets, Knicks, Rangers, and the Giants.
Our show is live every Wednesday through Spreaker and a bunch of other ways to get our content. Again, we're the Show That Never Sleeps podcast. We talk about all those New York sports. It's a lot of fun. We get into all of it. Please tune in. Again, that's Wednesdays at 6 p.m.
And we look forward to having you guys right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Are you a fan of Buffalo sports? Are you thinking of changing loyalties and becoming a Buffalo sports fan? Do you even know where Buffalo is on the map? Did you know Canada is closer to Buffalo than New York City? Welcome to the Buffalo Huddle, every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Coast Time on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your host, Patty Bax. This is a podcast designed for you, the passionate sports fan. I know you love your sports. Who doesn't? I cover Buffalo sports and so much more by bringing in the human elements. I call it Buffalo sports with a twist. Join me as we take a journey into the world of Buffalo sports. I guarantee you'll fall in love with Buffalo just like I did. Each week we start with an inspiration, question of the day, a Buffalo fun fact, and our weekly challenge to you, the listener. Come huddle up with me every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Coast Time for the Buffalo Huddle with Patty Bax on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. As we say in Buffalo, go Bills!
As they say in Buffalo, go Bulls, because, well, they're bowl eligible. Buffalo Bulls get ready to get down and dirty in the Camilla Bowl coming up on Tuesday in a couple of days, taking on Georgia Southern. And, well, Teran, a team that barely got in as well, Georgia Southern, 6-6 this year. Hey, they barely made a bowl game. Whatever, they made it, right? Who cares? Anyway, with that said, Teran, big ups to our boy, Mr. Cale Henderson in the chat, by the way. He says, yo, Matt Rule cleaned up at Nebraska. Of course, Cale Henderson of Nebraska. He says here, he signed some really good player in under 2 weeks of having the job. Well, congratulations to Matt Rule. I didn't even know he went over there after being the Panthers coach. So congratulations to him, and pretty cool. So let's see what they do. Let's see what he does with those Cornhuskers. Let's see, Teran, if he brings back, let's see if he actually makes it official for those uniforms, the overalls.
Yep.
Those were the best. I'm telling you, they got to make those overall uniforms a real thing, Teran.
I still have the picture for it.
That was great. That's going to be Matt Rule's first game. He's going to bring those uniforms. He's going to make those a reality. I'm just kidding. But yeah, all the best to Matt Rule.
Amazing.
Well, that was hilarious, right? But congratulations, of course, to Mr. Matt Rule. Well, Teran, real quick before we get into the Bulls, though, man, we got to talk about, some of these crazy championships that were played. Of course, last Saturday, talked about Riverside getting destroyed by San Mateo. San Mateo being Triple C, Double A, or 3C, 2A champions of California, national champions of the 3C, 2A. That same exact week, or that following week, I guess, if you want to cut it between Saturday and Sunday. Of course, we had Hutchinson getting blown out as well, man. Iowa Western, the Reavers will earn a national championship, first one in 10 years. By the way, that was San Mateo's first ever. And, well, the Reavers will win their first one in 10 years, second one in program history, shutting out the Hutchinson Blue Dragons. And then, of course, Teran, last Saturday, we talked about the Stag Bowl. Congratulations to North Central. They would knock off Mount Union in a crazy game. Congratulations to them winning another title. Second one in the last 3 years, since 2019, I believe. They did a heck of a job. And here we go, Teran. Last week we were on air, and, well, the Division II National Championship and the NIAI Championships were both on. And congratulations, man, to both of these teams. First up, we have, of course, in Division II, Teran, it was a great game. It really was, for one team. for the other team, it wasn't so great. And it's crazy. You don't know what you're going to get in the national championship. And they had the coolest picture. I had to steal it. Just kidding. No, I had to. Of course, I gave them all the credit at Ferris Football. But coolest freaking image for the championship on their Twitter. They made like a newspaper. It said the Bulldog Gazette champs. It says twice as nice. They had the final score. It had all these little things like you can read about like on the front page of a news article. It was awesome. But congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. The Bulldogs, they will knock off Colorado School of Mines 41-14. Yeah, how about that? They will win their second national championship in program history. And, of course, their second back-to-back, Teran. So they're on the roll. They're on a roll, brother. I don't know if anybody's ever gone the three-peat, but damn, they look good, man. Unless they're losing a lot of talent, I don't know what's going down. But congratulations to them. I know, Teran, we picked School of Mines to try to, go with the underdog. And, Ferris State said, nah, homie. Teran, any thoughts on that game, man?
Yeah, I really think Colorado School of Mines had its inexperience shown. And Ferris State, to me, I think their experience shined brightest when it truly mattered. And nothing against Colorado School of Mines, but you just have to be ready when it comes to these big-time matchups. And unfortunately, this was just lack of them being in the college football championship. But credit to Ferris State, they really brought the boom in this game, and there's no better way to say it, that they were the better team. But again, Colorado School of Mines, obviously it was a tough loss, and this is going to sting for them quite a bit, but this isn't the worst thing to happen in their lives. It is the worst thing to happen in their athletic career, but it's not the worst thing to happen to them personally. So they'll be back, and who knows? Maybe we'll see Colorado School of Mines hoisting the plaque.
We shall see, Teran, but congratulations, of course, to those Division II champions, the Ferris State Bulldogs. That same exact day, Teran, there's a guy in the chat room right now that says, yo, the NCAA mascot uniforms were amazing. Those were my favorite games to play in the video game. Oh my gosh, Teran, those were the best when you got to play, uniform versus uniform, the mascot, team full of mascots on NCAA. Those were so much fun. But with that said, Teran, our boy Cale Henderson has a cousin that plays for this team, and they hoisted a trophy last Saturday as the Northwestern College Red Raiders will knock off the Kaiser Seahawks 35-25. This is their first national championship in program history. Congratulations to the Red Raiders! Teran, Kaiser would go upstate. I talked about too many times from Florida. They would fly up to Iowa on two separate occasions. They would knock off the defending champions, Morningside. They would knock off a very good Grandview team. And I forgot what the national championship was played, but they would play another Iowa team, wouldn't you know it, of Northwestern College. Not to be, but man, it was a great game. No reason that either of these teams no reason that the Kaiser Seahawks should hang their heads. But dude, it was quite the game, quite the season for both of them. But once again, standing alone at the top, the Red Raiders of Northwestern College. Teran, how about these Raiders, man?
This game was very tight in the first half. 7-7 as it was actually a scoreless first quarter in the scoreless first quarter, then 7-7 at halftime, and then Northwest kicked high gear, and then they eventually started to pull away often from Kaiser, and it was a game overall. I really thought that Northwestern brought it in the second half, and for them to win the national championship, their first ever national championship, it's a great and historic feeling, especially for the players who are now part of their school's history. So great game for both teams, and congratulations to Northwestern. They really earned it, and they brought it in that second half.
They really did, Teran. That's amazing. Thank you for those stats and for the scores, brother. But I'll tell you, man, just great job to both those schools. Once again, Ferris State, your Division II champions, and Northwestern College, your NAIA champions. All right, Teran, moving on over to the FCS now. We only got 2 more champions to crown this year, and of course that is the FCS, and well, we all know the College Football Playoff national champions coming up, but that's the last college game of the year. I mean, of course, the Senior Bowl, but that's a little later on in February. But Teran, it was a good one. Like I said, man, Incarnate Word having humble beginnings. I know a lot of these schools started really low, but man, I think like my buddy Chris Espinoza once said, and I think him and I were talking, they started like a Division III school, or I don't even know where they started, but dude, they were amazing, but not to be for them. They would fall by 3 points, and congratulations to the North Dakota State Bison. 35-32. This is like their 50,000th time being back to this game, to the FCS championship game. Incarnate Word fought and gave everything they have. 35-32, though. The Bison will move on to take on, of course, the other FCS game, the South Dakota State. I mean, right, Teran, it's only fitting. The 2 rivals. Earlier this year in the regular season, South Dakota State would knock off the number 1 seeded and their rivals, North Dakota State Bison. And, well, Teran, Montana State was like, hey, we're better than you. I'm just kidding. No, you know what? I thought they were going to fight. I really thought Montana State might give a battle here. I honestly thought, though, that South Dakota State was going to win this thing, and they did. But just a great season by Montana State. Last year, they got all the way to the championship game. They got blown out by North Dakota State. This year, Montana State did everything they could, and they would fall 39-18. South Dakota State would win this thing. And like I said, Teran, were they on a collision course the entire season to meet up in this game? I mean, it just feels like it. I don't know. Will we have the revenge game, except for this time on the national championship level? Kind of crazy. We talked about Grand Valley State, of Division II. They would knock off Ferris State earlier this season, taking the number 1 ranking away from them all the way until they met in, I think, the quarterfinals of the Division II playoffs. Ferris State would do away with them, and look at that. Then they would overcome that, Ferris State, and they would win the national championship. I mean, I don't know, Teran, are we going to see North Dakota State win their 400th title in the last 10 years? I mean, I don't know. Are we going to, something like that? But are we going to see the Bison get that revenge game and win it? Or is it finally time for South Dakota to step out of the freaking shadow? I mean, it's coming up, man. It's, that game is actually to be played on January 7th. No, actually, no. I don't know why it's on a Sunday, Teran. I can't tell you why. January 8th, on the final day of Week 17, or Week 18, of course, the final week of the NFL. I don't know why it's being played on that day. It really should have stuck on Saturday the 7th, or like previously before. But anyway, Teran, what do you think, brother? FCS Championship, a little too early to call it, but what do you think, man?
Well, I'm not surprised South Dakota State beat Montana State, just because Montana State beat South Dakota State, if I recall, last year in the FCS semifinals. So the fact that I think that loss was in the minds of all of the South Dakota State players that returned, and they knew they wanted to get to that final just so they could rematch their other rival, North Dakota State. So I really thought that South Dakota State handled business well. They really showed Montana State what for, and I think that South Dakota State earned their spot in the final. Now, Montana State obviously deserves credit for getting that far, but it's tough to beat a team for 2 straight years in the semifinals. So you have nothing to sad about or nothing to really hang their heads about. It's just that South Dakota State has been in this situation multiple times, and you poke them the previous year, you're going to have to poke them harder the following year. But I give South Dakota State a lot this win. It's not really easy to beat Montana State. So good job to South Dakota State. And yeah, it's the Battle of the Dakotas in the final.
We shall see who wins that thing, Teran. So we got about 20 minutes left here on the show. Of course, our boy Aaron X is coming on I don't envy being him right now with his with his unfortunate his unfortunate recap of what happened last week to the Colts. All I know is I hope that doesn't happen to the Raiders tonight. Anyway, Teran, unfortunately, with that said, Teran, last week bowl season is officially a week and a day, or 8 days, if you will, old. We already talked about those first two games last week. Of course, Troy defeating UTSA to become the Duluth Trading Cure Bowl champions of the season, and UAB defeating Miami of Ohio 24-20 to become the Hometown Lenders Bahamas Bowl champions this year. Okay, on to this week, though. We were on live during this game last week. Louisville would knock off Cincinnati 24-7. They are the Wasabi Fenway Bowl champions. Then we have the number 14 Oregon State Beavers. We heard our boy, kind of crazy, talking about it. Excuse me. Yeah, we heard our boy, Mr. Corey Pujols, in the chat room last week, talking about how Florida had a significant amount of injuries of their starters, and unfortunately just wasn't good for them. But Oregon State, man, they number 14 would win this one handedly, 30-3. Winning the SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl. Then we had Fresno State. Man, they did away with Washington State, didn't they, Teran? 29-6, winning the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl presented by Stifle. I think that's how you say it. Then we have here the Lending Tree Bowl, where Southern Miss would knock off Rice 38-24. That was a pretty good game. A game that was even better than that, Teran. BYU SMU. Oh, it was a good one. We had here BYU knocking off SMU 24-23. Amazing game there, man. Anytime it can come down to the wire like that. Touchdown with 8 seconds to go, man. Tanner Mordecai, I believe, Jordan Curley, and the 2-point conversion would fail, but man, it was so close. I mean, oh my gosh, SMU was like seconds away from winning a bowl game, but BYU's defense would hold strong. They are the New Mexico Bowl champions. And then, of course, the Frisco Bowl the Frisco Bowl presented by ServPro. Boise State defeating the Mean Green of Northern Texas, or North Texas, 35-32. Congratulations to them, and that was all last Saturday. Now we're gonna get, of course, Monday through Friday of this week. But Teran, any thoughts on those games last Saturday, man? They were pretty good, weren't they?
Yeah, Oregon State with their strong win over Florida. For me, they actually gave their head coach a nice little contract extension, and their future is looking bright just because they have some good recruits coming in, and they also have DJ Uiagalelei transferring from Clemson over to them. So it's going to be really quite nice to see Oregon State being extremely competitive. And they could vie for a Pac-12 championship, especially after when UCLA and USC leave for the Big Ten. Their win was also pretty nice. They have a bright future ahead of them, except one of their top recruits, DeAndre Moore, did have to actually flip his commitment from Louisville to Texas, so that's kind of a big loss, but I think Louisville still has a somewhat bright future, and we'll see. Florida, I think, has to rebuild their team. Nothing against Florida, but this was somewhat of an ugly year, especially after they had so much promise after defeating Utah earlier in the season. And for Marshall, they have two good running backs who I think they could possibly be the best running back duo in NCAA football. And I don't know if you mentioned Iowa, but Iowa has one of the best running backs they could probably have one of the best running backs in Frank Gore Jr., as he set the all-time NCAA bowl game record in terms of rushing yards with 39 rushing yards in Iowa's win. So, yeah, those are some of
Oh man, brother, we are just struggling with this reception today for you, brother. My apologies, man. I hope we can get Teran cleaned up over there. But you got me, brother?
Yeah.
Okay, it's all good, man. Unfortunately, that was a little tough reception at the end, but we got you, man. And yeah, absolutely great games there. Now, Marshall, we just talked about them, of course. Monday, this past week, the Myrtle Beach Bowl. Really good game here for these guys. The Herd, 28-14, getting a nice victory on Monday. Then on to Tuesday, Toledo over Liberty, 21-19. And a very solid game for Toledo, pulling that one out. Eastern Michigan. Very good game here. I mean, really, San Jose State started out so good in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. And, well, Eastern Michigan came out with a fury and won this thing. Amazing job to them. And by the way, Toledo over Liberty in the roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl. My apologies. And then, of course, Eastern Michigan winning the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. Then on to Wednesday. That was Tuesday. On to Wednesday. Really good game here. It was so one-sided, man. It really was. I thought this was going to be a really good game, but Western Kentucky came out and just dominated South Alabama. South Alabama came out and played after a while. I don't know if Western Kentucky let up or if this is, South Alabama remember they have a football team. I don't know, but they got destroyed, man. And then Western Kentucky won that thing 44-23, though. The Jaguars had a good season. Unfortunately for them, though, they had a tough loss there at the end. And South Alabama, and Western Kentucky, 44, like I said, to 23. Great season there for the Hilltoppers, winning the R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl. Next up here, we have, on Thursday, Air Force. Hey, it's only fitting, right? The Armed Forces Bowl, the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. Baylor just couldn't get it done, man. Kind of a weird little game here, but Air Force, better team pretty much throughout the entire game, and the Falcons would win the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. Congratulations to the Air Force Academy. And then, of course, on to Friday's games. Last night, Houston, my goodness, Teran, I don't know if you're watching this one, brother. It was a good one. In the Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl, Houston and Louisiana, they came down to the wire, man. The Raging Cajuns and the Cougars, it was a great one, but it was 16-16 after a Kyle Ramsey 19-yard field goal with 13:40 to go in the game. But, Teran, it all came down to the last 20 seconds where Clayton Tune will hit Nathaniel Dell for a 12-yard pass into the end zone. The Kyle Ramsey extra point was good, and with 20 seconds to go in this game, the Cougars would go up 23-16. Well, they would eventually win the Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl. And then, of course, this game I had on Hulu last night when we were walking around, of course, enjoying ourselves, watching with family, enjoying the lights of Naples, Long Beach. That was pretty awesome. Wake Forest, man. What a game this was. Wake Forest would knock off Mizzou 27-17. Of course, Mr. John Felipe talked a little bit about this yesterday on his show, since it just started when his show was on, the Carolina Cast. And, well, Wake Forest will win this thing once again, 27-17, winning the Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl. Congratulations to them. All right, Teran, any thoughts on any of those games from this week?
Well, I kind of already gave some of my thoughts, as in the Marshall has the two good running backs, and Frank Gore is a beast of a running back, and Florida will probably have to blow it up, but I think that's pretty much it for the most part.
Well, awesome stuff there. And sorry about that, brother. I know your reception was kind of bad. But anyway, brother, with that said, there is a bowl game today, but we're going to kick ourselves one more break for a few moments here, just to build some suspense, because we have the Hawaii Bowl on Christmas Eve, getting ready and set. We've got about 10 minutes left here in the show, but we're going to give you a little suspense. You're listening to the 3 and Out College Edition right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back talking this week's bowl games after this.
Hey there, sports fans. Are you looking for a sports show that maybe isn't 100% about sports?
Then you might want to check out the Sports Couple Perspectives right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Most sports shows cover only scores and stats, and while we're not opposed to that, we dig a little deeper into sports issues and some of the hottest topics in athletics.
In addition to sports, we take a journey through my neck of the woods, Pulp Culture, with movie reviews of both sports and non-sports films.
Speaking of pop culture, make sure to participate in our game nights, where we quiz each other on our specialties, and you, the listeners, can win IE Sports Radio apparel.
We always have a great time learning more about each other's worlds, one show at a time.
So join us each week on the Sports Couple Perspectives, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. What's going on, football fans? This is me, your boy Larry B, inviting you to join myself, Colin Reynolds, Mike Pat, and John Felipe for one of the most electrifying football shows you have ever heard. 3 and Out, right here at IE Sports Radio. Recap of the week before, a preview of what's to come, and of course, 3 hardcore head-to-head prime-time face-offs each week. You don't want to miss it.
That is right, ladies and gentlemen. 3 and Out, been lacking on the primetime face-off this year like crazy, but it wasn't the year for it. I'm trying to recruit and get all the shows we can here at IE Sports Radio. Oh my gosh, the behind-the-scenes work is very hard here, but we got to give props to our boy Teran, of course, our boy Adam, Kale, Aaron X, everybody here in the chat room, everybody that keeps IE Sports Radio going on the outside, while this crazy guy over here, behind, or on the main stage, if you will, they make the station great, and me, I'm over there trying to get crap done in the background, but hey, we all work together, and we all sound great, and we appreciate everybody just doing their part, and just showing love, and making this awesome station what it is. So, with that said, alright, Darren, we got some bowl games to get into this week, man. We've got about 7 minutes left here on the show. Let's have some fun and have some quick picks, good sir. Well, quick and dirty, man. If they want to hear the full version, they can tune in, or they can go and click on podcasts over on iesportsradio.com. Click on podcasts, and you can hear this show in its entirety, along with all of our other shows. Pick up some IE Sports Radio merch, some Christmas bulbs, all kinds of cool stuff there on iesportsradio.com. But Teran, tonight we have ourselves a fun little game here on Christmas Eve. The Hawaii Bowl, Mid-Tennessee State at 7-5 taking on San Diego State at also 7-5. They're favored, actually. The Aztecs are favored by 6.5 points. In the Easy Post Hawaii Bowl, Teran ripped the Aztecs a new one this year after they lost to Fresno State the way they did. But let's just see how he feels about this game versus the Blue Raiders. What you think, Teran?
So it's so tough to predict San Diego State this year just because they've had the most up and down year. I went with San Diego State winning this one 17-14. That's kind of my bread and butter score for San Diego State this year. I expect them to win in defensive fashion. I don't expect this to be high scoring, and I expect the defense to be high flying, and hopefully it's probably going to come down to one last game-winning drive or a game-winning field goal. And hopefully it will be San Diego State on top. Jalen Mayden has been the guy for San Diego State this year. And unless, of course, they get some other hotshot quarterback from the transfer portal, I think they got to roll with Jalen Mayden for next year. So, again, for this year, however, for this bowl game, it feels weird not seeing Hawaii in the Hawaii Bowl. But for San Diego State, I have them taking the win 17-14. I expect the defense to come out on point, and on paper, they should win this game. It's going to be an ugly one.
Well, hopefully it's a good one, but I'm going to take San Diego State as well. No final score, but thank you, sir, and awesome stuff there. All right, we got about 2 minutes left here before we got to hit the music, so let's go ahead and go rapid fire. Quick Lane Bowl. We have New Mexico State, 6-6. Bowling Green at 6-6. Bowling Green is favored by 3 points on Monday, the day after Christmas. Who you got, Darren?
I'm going to take the Maction and take Bowling Green.
I like that. Good pick. On Tuesday, we got 4 of them, man. The 27th, we got the Georgia, but we talked about it already. Both teams at 6-6, Georgia Southern and Buffalo in the Camilla Bowl. That should be a fun game. They got Georgia Southern favored by 4 points. Who you got?
As much as I like the Sun Belt, give me Buffalo.
Agreed. Let's go Buffalo Bulls. All right, next up, Memphis State at 6-6, and also Utah State at 6-6 in the Serve Pro First Responders Bowl. Memphis is favored by 7.5 with their really cool uniforms. I gotta take Memphis.
Yeah, I'll take Memphis as well.
Ticket Smarter Birmingham Bowl. Coastal Carolina at 9-3, taking on East Carolina at 7-5. Eastern Carolina is favored by 7 points. And you know what? To make our GM of iSports Radio happy, Miss Angela Winstead, give me the Pirates.
It's a tough one right there. I'm actually going to roll with Coastal Carolina. Sorry, Pirate Nation.
Wisconsin at 6-6. Oklahoma State at 7-5. Wisconsin favored by 3.5 points in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. You know what? I just like the record. Give me the Pokes. Let's go Oklahoma State.
This one's a pick-em if you ask me. I'm actually going to roll with Wisconsin. I'm on Wisconsin.
Already on Wisconsin. All right, Wednesday's games. Military Bowl presented by Paratron, I believe. UCF 9-4. Duke at 8-4. Duke is favored by 3. I'm going to take UCF.
Same here. I got the Golden Knights.
Alrighty. Well, let's get ready to cue that music, y'all, because we're pretty much on out of here. But we can continue it, of course, while making our picks while we're out of here. Now we got to go really, really fast, but it's all good. Kansas 6-6, Arkansas 6-6. Arkansas favored by 3 in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Give me the Razorbacks.
Yeah, as much as I want to see Kansas win a bowl game, I just think that the Razorbacks are just too good. They underachieved this year, so this is their chance to end it with a win.
Agreed. Number 15, Oregon at 9-3. North Carolina at 9-4. Oh, that should be a fun game, actually, in the San Diego County Credit Union Holiday Bowl. But give me the Oregon Ducks.
If Oregon does not win this game, we got a roast.
Roast all
Oregon.
day. Texas Tech at 7-5. Ole Miss at 8-4. Ole Miss is favored by 3.5 points. You know what? Give me the Rebels in the Tax Act Texas Bowl.
Yeah, I'll take the Rebels as well. Give me Lane Kiffin's high-powered offense.
On to Thursday. Syracuse at 7-5. Minnesota at 8-4. Minnesota's favored by 10 points in the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl. Yeah, I'm going Golden Gophers.
Yeah, I'll take Minnesota as well. I think their defense is very appetizing to get to.
Cheez-It Bowl! Oklahoma had a very tough year at 6-6. Number 13, Florida State at 9-3. Well, Florida State's favored by 9.5 points. I'm going Seminoles.
Same here. I think Florida State has been great all season.
Valero Alamo Bowl. So number 20, Texas at 8-4. Number 12, Washington at 10-2. Texas is actually favored by 3 points, but I'm going with UW. Give me the Huskies.
Yeah, give me Washington in this one. They peaked at the right time.
They really did. Next up, we have here on to Friday, the Duke's Mayo Bowl. Maryland at 7-5. Number 23, NC State at 8-4. Well, Teran, NC State is favored by 1 point. That's a tough game, but I'm going to go Maryland.
Yeah, I'll take Maryland as well.
Alrighty, well, Pitt 8-4, UCLA, number 18 UCLA at 9-3. UCLA is favored by 6 points. Daytona, the Tiger Sun Bowl. I'm gonna actually roll with the Bruins.
Yeah, no Keaton Slovis for Pitt, so give me UCLA all day.
Oh my goodness! Alrighty, number 21 Notre Dame at 8-4. Number 19 South Carolina at 8-4. Notre Dame is favored by 2 in the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. Who you got?
I got Notre Dame. They beat one Carolina team. They'll beat another one.
Hey, Ohio At 9-4, Wyoming. At 7-5, Ohio. The Bearcats, I believe, are favored by 1 point in the Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl. That's a tough one, but give me Ohio, man. OH.
Ohio. I'll take Ohio as well.
I know that's the Buckeyes, but hey, they're from Ohio too. Screw it. We can do the same thing from Mount Union, whatever. Anyway, Terry, one more game, brother. One more. We have here number 6, Tennessee at 10-2. Clemson, number 7, Clemson at 11-2. Clemson's favored by 5.5 points after their crazy season in the Capital One Orange Bowl. Oh, now we're getting to the big names. Darren, who you got?
I'm going to take Clemson for this one.
Yeah, I want to see Rocky Top win it, but I think Clemson will win it. But so, with that said, Darren, we got plenty more bowl games coming up next Saturday, of course, but we're going to get to those next week when we're on. It's time to say goodbye. Teran, of course, brother, where can all these diehards find you, man?
Find me on Twitter at Teran Rodriguez 1. It's Teran, then Rodriguez, then the number 1.
You can find me, your boy Larry B, at the THEE_LB53. Of course, you can follow us all as a whole, everywhere across social media at IE Sports Radio. So follow the show here at 3 and Out, all spelled out, IECE for College Edition. And that's going to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been fun. Congratulations to all of our champions, our national champions. Congratulations to all the bowl game winners. Enjoy your Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas to you and yours from the IE Sports Radio family. For my boy, Teran Rodriguez, our boy. For me, your boy, Larry B. We are signing off. We'll see y'all next week. Until then, take care, and as always, God bless.